right, we'll start it now. Let's start it. Yeah,
Let's
it looks like we're
go.
live, man. Looks like we're live, guys. We said freak the intro. Let's go right at it because we had you guys waiting for a very long time with this, some technical difficulties. But guys, we are here. Shout out to Mr. Glass Half Full. Speed if you now I'm about to say speed if you nasty. Speed the genius here. It's your boy Eli Reax, aka Vibes. And we're gonna go through the schedule a little bit, man. We're gonna have some fun with this and win-loss. I already gave my prediction for the first couple games, or few games, I should say. And I'm gonna try to, justify everything here. You know what I mean? So, guys, get in the chat if you can. Hit that thumbs up, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate all the support. Speed, man, how you feel about the schedule? And we're just looking at 1-7 right now. Then we'll go through the rest of it. But Speed, how you feel about this first 7 games first, brother?
Don't mind my shitty screenshot here, everybody. But this is production at its finest. I had to snag it. Listen, this is the
Speed a
rumors we
genius.
got. Hey, this is the rumors we got, and we're gonna roll with it. So, how I feel is, your first, your first thought about it is just murderers row to start the season, and it really it really hurts because we heard maybe Broncos, maybe Raiders, and then they hit you with at Commanders, at Cowboys, Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, then Chargers right off the bat. And everybody wants to jump to conclusions that it's 0-4. 0-4 right there. Like everybody says 0-4. It's basically you might as well fold up shop. It's just really bad. But to me, you know what? We could be negative when we have that 40-0 opening day loss, and be negative then. Right now, I'm looking at positives. Right, I think that all these first 4 games, they're winnable. I think they're winnable. Nobody on here is like, oh, this is like the Eagles. We might as well not even try. Whatever. I think we're right there with the Commanders. I think we're right there with the Cowboys. And if we're not, this whole offseason was for naught. Right? Like we improved as a team better than those 2 teams in my opinion. So I expect them to win one of those first 2 games, and they gotta just figure out a way to steal one of these the next 2 after that. And if you're sitting at 2-2, the rest of the schedule starts to open up and looks better. But if you're sitting at 0-4 or 1-3, then we're like, okay, it's start time. Like it's start watch. So I hope we're not there, man. I really hope we're not there. What do you think, E?
Speed, I'm looking at these first 7 games, right? And I woke up and I'm like, you know what, man? We can easily, I don't want to say easily, but we could compete with the Commanders, I think, with the roster we have now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's another year of Jaden Daniels of being in the league. So there's a whole year of film on him. And now you get to see the play calling and etc. from that offensive coordinator. I think we could compete with the Commanders at this point. Now I do understand the quarterback, but guys, we don't have a rookie quarterback back there. We have a veteran in Russell Wilson that's going to start week 1 most likely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's not poo-poo on Russ. You know what I mean? Like I think he's smart enough and understand defenses enough to actually come in here and win us that game particularly. So I look at that game and I go, that's a winnable game. I think the Giants are going to take that one. And we're going to start the division. There we go, 1-0. Perfect. I look at the Cowboys. Has the Cowboys really improved besides Dak Prescott coming back from injury? No, right? So you look at it, you go, all right, yeah, they got a wide receiver. The wide receiver core can be stacked to some people, whatever the case is. I get it. But I think we could compete with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys is competing with us for the last or third place, and we'll get to that another time. You know what I'm saying? So I think we can compete with the Dallas Cowboys, and I think we can actually win it with the Dallas Cowboys at this point. I think we'll get a W right here, straight here. So I think that's 2-0. Now I do say the Chiefs
2-0, baby.
We're 2-0. We're 2-0 starting. Trust me, 2-0.
I gotta write this down.
Write these predictions down. Speed. I'm looking at the Chiefs. We ain't
beating
beating the Chiefs, brother. We ain't beating the Chiefs. That's a loss right there. Chargers.
Okay.
Let's be, and I'm going through this real quick. I'm sorry, Speed,
like
and we'll break it down.
I like it.
And I look at the Chargers and I go, man, Justin Herbert, those guys, yes, they have the great coach over there. And what's my guy? Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. Is it Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. I get it over there. John's in Baltimore. Forgive me, guys. I get the J's confused. But
it's okay.
Jim, I go, man, listen, I'm looking at the Chargers and I'm like, do they scare me? Do they really honestly scare me and match up with the Giants with all the offseason, all the draft acquisitions, all the guys that's going to take the step up from the last draft that we applauded and that they showed promise? Can they really match up with the Chargers and beat them? I got them beating the Chargers by 3 there. All right. Then I look at the Saints and I go, the Saints, man, are they a stacked team or are they a team that they can be like a force to be reckoned with?
Well, yeah.
Think about it, Speed. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at that and I'm chomping at the bit. I go, Giants can win that one. And I say the Giants, man, win by 3 on that one as well on a close game. All right. Then I look at the Eagles and the Broncos and I go, tough fight. I don't think they're going to win with the Eagles. And as far as the Broncos, I think they can match up well with the Broncos, but the Broncos, man, they're just on a different tear. They're on a different something over there. So I got them losing to the Broncos. But right now, Speed, we're having a winning record at this point. Am I correct here? Did I break that down?
So let's see. You got a win. Win in the first two games, right? Then a loss, and then a win against the Chargers, and a win against the Saints. Is that what you got?
Yeah, win against Saints.
And then
Eagles
lost
and
Eagles, and then win against Broncos.
I say loss against Broncos.
Loss? Okay, that's fair. So right now, yeah, you got a 4-3 start, which would be solid. That would be very, very solid to start. So I'm gonna go about it a little bit different, right? So I'm gonna go about it a little bit different. I think we're gonna split one of the first two, right? I think I don't know. Listen, if you come out 2-0 out of the first two games, you start thinking playoffs right away. Let's call it a spade there. So I'm going to say, though, we are going to go ahead and beat the Cowboys and lose to the Commanders. Close game. I really like the Commanders matchup, though, now. It's starting to think 2-0 too. Man, I'm trying to like ease my.
It's all right. It's all right.
Fuck it. Start 2-0.
Let's go.
Start 2-0.
Let's go. You should be excited about this. And if we're wrong, who cares? You know what I mean? But it's exciting to see that. Yo, listen, we could potentially start 2-0 here. We can.
We lost to Washington last year in a 3-14 season by combined 8 points, right?
Yeah.
And if the thought process is the Giants have gotten better, and I think they got significantly better, and better than even the Commanders have gotten. Commanders gotten better, but our jump is higher, I'd say. So if our jump is higher and we were close last year, theoretically we should be right on the same line, right? I think this defense, man, I think Carter is going to be able to spy Jaden Daniels, and I think he's going to give him hell. and that's going to create a problem. So screw it. I'm out. I'm in 2-0. Let's start 2-0. Chiefs now. I know Chiefs is going to be tough. Chiefs is going to be tough. Let's say an L. No, you know what? I think they're going to split I had these two as a split too. So I'm going to say we're going to start 3-0, and then we're going to lose to the Chargers.
Okay, Spee. I like this, Spee. Okay.
Start 3-0, lose to the Chargers. They beat the Saints. They're going to lose to you know what? Yeah. Then they're going to lose 2-0. See, we both got to 4-3 out of the first 7, but I got there a little later. We swapped the Chargers and Chiefs game. That's what it came down to. But listen, I think people, I think you want to be 2-2 out of those first 4. That's the setup to the whole season. At minimum, you could be 2-2. If you're 1-3 and 0-4, you start taking the negative look, like this is going to be a 5-win season, But if you start 2-2 or better, you start looking, hey, 10 wins starts to come into fruition here. So I think we got a good start here. Let's scroll down on my shitty little.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as some.
Not as bad.
Now we're getting to that second half, right?
Yes.
So we start looking at the second half, Speed. If you don't mind, I just give a little quick prediction here.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like we're there with the Eagles. Don't forget, he's the defending Super Bowl champions. It's Saquon Barkley. Is Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts over there. You get what I'm saying? Those guys, they don't turn over the staff. They didn't turn over the staff. I don't think any coaching staff got hired, I think, this offseason. So you're looking at that, you go, man, these guys, they're not going to beat the Eagles. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the 49ers. They're going to have a bounce-back season, I think. I think the 49ers is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Then I start looking at I got 2 losses right there, man.
Okay.
And I know the future looking dark, and people go, oh, my God, fire everyone. But look at that nice start you had. Yes. And, of course, reality check hits in, and I get it. But as long as they're showing fight these next couple games, guys, that's all that matters at this point.
This season,
absolutely. This season right here, long live Pest. Free. And I know we said that when they went to the playoffs. They wasn't supposed to win. If they didn't win, the Giants would have been rebuilding or whatever the case is still, and we would have been demanding this type of change. But I'm telling you right now, we got to take it as face value. It's free, okay? But I'm looking at the Eagles. That's a loss. 49ers, that's a loss. Looking at the Bears. The Bears don't scare me. Caleb Williams doesn't scare me yet. He had a rough start coming out. So I'm looking at that, and I go, man, we could win against the Bears with no problem. Bears, give me that win. Then I'm looking at the Packers, and I'm like, Packers is still the Packers. Jordan Love is still Jordan Love, but he can be had. But I think the Packers are going to squeeze by. I think they're going to win by a touchdown there.
The Packers are going to win?
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to win. And I'm getting through this quick, Speed. Forgive me.
No,
I
keep
think
going.
the Packers are going to win. I look
Okay.
at Detroit. There's no way they're beating Detroit. That is just a well-oiled coach team right there. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm looking at the Patriots. That is a W right there for the
Yes, that's
Giants,
got to
man.
be a
So
dub.
that's definitely a W, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what do you guys got, man? I mean, what do you got, Spee?
So I'm gonna go with you. Let's just say they get swept by the Eagles, but hopefully just play them tough, right? Don't get blown
Yep.
out by the Eagles anymore. And with this defense, you should be able to do that, right? You should be able to come back that. I'm gonna go opposite on the 49ers. I think that their window is closing, man. They've had a
Okay.
lot of losses. They lost Debo Samuel. We don't know what Christian McCaffrey's gonna be. They lost a couple running backs. Trent Williams is getting older. This team is getting older, and they're putting a lot of their hopes on a quarterback in Brock Purdy that he does not, he doesn't
fit
do
the
it for
bill.
me. He still
Mhm.
doesn't do it for me. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say it's a loss for the Eagles, win against San Fran.
Let's go.
It's at home. So they got to come across the country. I want that win against the 49ers at Bears. I'm going to say another W. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have it 6-4 right now.
Ooh, okay, Spee.
But then I got 2 losses in a row. Yeah, Packers,
Good.
Lions. Lions are just too tough, and Packers are going to be a force, man. They're going to be a force. They got a lot of good wide receivers over there. I'm more, Jordan Love. It's a big year for Jordan Love. Let's see what he could do. I'm gonna just chalk them up because they gotta find loss this summer, right? We're not going. It's not
Oh
gonna be an
yeah, we
all-time
can't. Come
season
on.
here.
Yeah, we got to be honest here.
Patriots, though. Patriots, I have a W. I have at Patriots Monday Night Football. I like our squad, our roster a lot better than the Patriots do. I just do. And then there's the bye week, right? So you have them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 and 7 you got going
Yep.
into week 14 bye. I have them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Ooh.
and 7 and 6. So we're one
Ooh,
game apart
sweet.
there.
Okay. Okay.
We're one game apart, but
Okay.
they're in contention here late, and this would be a moment where it'll be interesting, man. Do you still ride? Are you riding with Russ still? Are you, like at this point, and just still redshirting Dart at 6 wins?
Well, I'll tell you this at this particular point, if my predictions are correct, then I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. And Speed, if you could scroll down just a little bit, right? Because there's only a couple more games, right? I'm looking at the rest of the schedule and I'm going, well, hey, who do we have next? This way the young quarterback can get a shot. Or maybe the division or, everything could work out to where the Giants can possibly be a playoff team with that particular record, right? Who knows? Because we looked at the Broncos, and I don't think they were up there as far as win percentage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Speed, but they didn't get in with the most glorious record, if I'm not
Broncos
mistaken.
were I think
Or
they won like 10 games. 10. I
so
gotta
never
look
mind
back.
that. Forgive me. I apologize. I
They
forget.
got in the playoffs.
But it can be. I think the Giants got in with like 9 wins or something, 8, 7. I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, 9 and 6. They were 9 and 6 and 1. Yeah, back when
So
the
I look at
Giants
the
got
rest
in.
of you're right. I'm sorry, Speed. You're right. So I look at the rest of the schedule and I go, man, can we beat these particular teams? And I look at the Commanders, and I think we're going to split with the Commanders. I think we're going to get that one shot, and that's it. I look at the Vikings. That could be an easily winnable game, but don't forget
At
these
home.
guys. These guys are built
last
different.
year.
These guys are built different. You get what I'm saying? So that's a loss right there. I look at the Raiders as a win, and I think we'll split against the Cowboys. So you start to look at that young man and go, man, look at our record. If the playoffs are, hey, Dart, go warm that arm up. Let's see you against the Commanders.
It'll be interesting, dude.
Let's see you against the Vikings here. Let's see you against the Raiders here. And let's see you against the Cowboys. Because if the playoffs is out of reach and we're 6 or 7 like I predicted, these losses are going to come. They got a tough schedule, people. I'm being real. I'm being real here. These last 4 games is going to be difficult besides the Raiders probably. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it and I'll go, man, no, if we're out of playoff contention, you go in there and you see what Dart can do. However, if you're still in the fight with 6 and 7, you're still kind of in the fight there.
Right.
And you keep Russ in there. You keep Russ in there for the Vikings. And if those turns out to be the 2 losses that I'm thinking, then Jackson Dart, get ready for the Raiders and win. Because then that's being hopeful right there. That's
Christmas Day, by the way. Christmas Day in Vegas.
Future is bright right now. If you go, you know what? We take these 2 losses. We're now, 6 and what is it? 6 and 9. Speed, I think is prediction.
So you said you have a loss to the Commanders week 15.
Correct, and I have a loss to the Vikings. So
okay, lost. Yeah, yep. 6 and 9. You're at 6 and 9.
6 and 9. So I'm coming back and I'm going, Dart, get ready, because I'm going to at least give people the chance to see you and see what's going on there. So I go, all right, Dart, get ready. If he wins that game, the future looks bright. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
And you throw him in
man.
with the Cowboys, right? You throw him in with the Cowboys, and if he loses, oh well, it's free money. You know what I mean? And he's going to lose there, unfortunately. I mean, but the longest he shows promise, the Giants are going to be, Giants going to giant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right now, I have the prediction right now at 6-11 for the season here.
So
guys.
you have a loss at the Raiders and loss to the Cowboys at the end of the day.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I have a win against the Cowboys, and then a win against the Raiders, and a loss against the Cowboys. So I'm sorry.
You're at
what am
7-10. 7-10.
7-10,
which is pretty good. That's kind of that should be the minimum in my opinion. And yes, if you're 7-10, you have to get Dart at least at the minimum those last 2 games at the minimum.
Right.
But in your scenario, if we are 5-7 heading into the Patriots game at week 13, I'll tell you what, that you get that extra day. I'm giving Dart that Patriots game because you get that extra day. That defense should be able to be had, and it's in New England. There's not a ton of pressure, and then you have the bye week, the whole next week to have him as your starter. You just for 2 weeks essentially to really get whatever else you need to get into him, and that sets you up for the last month, right? And then right at the bat, he comes against the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, a guy he's played at Ole Miss several times and went toe-to-toe with Jaden Daniels. So let's see what he's got against the Commanders. Let's see what he's got against the Vikings. I like the last 4-game stretch in the case where, we're 5-7 heading into that Patriots game, in your case, E. Yep. But for me, kind of like where this bye is. It's late, but that gives you health going into the last month of the season. And that, just for your reference, Commanders game is actually on fucking Thanksgiving. We got a Thanksgiving game and a Christmas game. So I hope you're not working the holidays, everybody. I hope you're not working the holidays.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
Listen, I'm going to say that we come out and we're probably going to lose the Commanders game. So I think that you're splitting with them, right? I don't think we're sweeping them.
No.
Whether you want to flip-flop the first game or the second game, whatever you want to decide, it's going to be 1-1. I think we owe the Vikings an ass kicking, and I don't think Sam Darnold is. I think Sam Darnold was a good quarterback, and I don't know what JJ McCarthy is yet. So let's see what he is. Let's see what they look like.
Let me ask you this, Pete. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I just got a question within the question, I guess. If you look at Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy, right? You look at those two, and again, we don't have much on JJ, but as far as looking at his college film and et cetera, and evaluating him, do you think he has the better arm talent than a Sam Darnold, and as far as like a thinking and his processing?
Because I don't think thinking and processing. Yeah, I think a vet like Darnold was able to process more. I think JJ's going to be in his first year. This is essentially, and he didn't get to develop last year. He didn't step on the field. So this is his rookie season, and I don't know if he's at the processing point that Sam Darnold was. Arm for arm, I think they're pretty much equal. I think Sam Darnold had a good arm. I think JJ does too. So rushing ability, I think JJ's got some rushing ability that Sam Darnold didn't have. Different quarterbacks, but I don't know that the Vikings are going to take a linear step up and they're just going to keep going with a different quarterback and just keep rising. So I'm going to say that we beat the Vikings at home. I'm going to say we beat the Vikings at home. That has me at 3, 6, 8 wins. 8. So I 8 wins right now. I think we beat the Raiders. Yeah, I think we beat the Raiders for 9, but then we lose to the Cowboys to go 9-8. That's a high end of the spectrum. Yeah, it's close. It might be a 10-7. 10-7 might be the playoff. What gets you into the playoffs. But I have them at this 8-9, 9-8 range. Right at the end of the day, but I don't see it much more than that. I think that's your high point, and I think I have them at a high point. I probably gave them a couple of W's right now, being optimistic. That I should have. So 7-10 to 9-8 is the range, right? I hate giving exact. Yeah, I hate giving exact numbers, but that's the range for both of us. It seems like, and that's what it feels like. Most of us have said, but man, if this defense could be what it's supposed to be on paper, that pushes you towards the 9 win, right? Yeah, like if your defense is holding teams to under 20 points a game, or 20, and your offense is doing just enough to score 22. You end up netting out at a positive number there, and you're starting to look at 9 wins, right?
Yeah.
If you see the offense not progressing, the O line still keeping them down. Russell Wilson looks like shit. You have to put in the rookie. It all falls apart. Then you're looking at 6-7, or maybe even less. Who knows? So you got to look at both best and worst case scenarios. I think we did a good job of hitting on both.
I totally agree, man. I mean, again, 7 wins could be high because I predicted 6 wins for the Giants. But looking at the schedule, I'll go, okay, I think the Raiders, and I do understand the Raiders are an upgrade as far as they have Pete Carroll. Tom Brady's there. He owns a little piece of it too. So those guys are going to be a little smart and strategic. Geno Smith is there. I get it. But I think the team's going to take a little bit to gel. I think they'll be all right by that week. But still, I think the Giants can be a little bit better than I think if Jackson Dart is in there and that rookie gets his shot. I think Coach Dayball is going to make sure he's coaching for his career, right? So I think Dayball is going to make sure has all the tools necessary to make sure Dart wins that game. Is why I got them winning that one. Other than that, man, otherwise I'll go, I don't know, who knows. But the Raiders, like I said, doesn't scare me, even though they are stacked over there as far as coaching and etc. But they don't scare me too much. I think they could slip in. But like I said, it could be a give or take 7 wins or 6 wins for me this season, give or take.
Yeah. And you got to get at least you got to get 2 in the division, right? You got to get the minimum split with the Cowboys and split with the Commanders, and that helps you set up for a decent season at least. If you start going one win or less in the division again, you can't keep doing that, right? At some point we need to close the gap. Cowboys did not get better. Commanders got a little marginally better, but I think they're going to take a little step back, as I talked about with the Vikings. I don't think it's going to be they're not going to win 14 games and then every year is going to be great. I think there's going to be a little step back. So, you got to win 2 games in division, and then you got to manage to navigate that early season schedule and give them hope. If you got hope, the rest of the things kind of fall into place at that point. We talked about it last episode. Getting wins early builds confidence, and then that you could parlay that into more wins.
And Speed, you hit the nail on the head. And listen, a lot of people will go, man, we stink so bad. Like, how do you expect this? And this is how do you expect this to be good progress? These 6 or 7 wins, or starting off hot in that nature. And how do you expect it to be impressed? Listen, if the Giants are showing fight, and again, I do understand we stink, guys. But if the Giants are showing fight with this new roster in here, and the guys are taking a step up that they drafted and they start improving, because we all know Joe Shane's track record when he started drafting. He didn't get good until last year and this year as far as draft on paper, especially last year. I think on paper he did well. We'll see about this year. But they turned out to be pretty good drafts, right? So, of course, let these guys marinate a little bit more. I think you'll start to see those nice wins coming in, etc. So if this team shows fight and shows growth and process, then you go, man, the future is bright for this team. Right. This team is fighting underneath this coaching staff. And, of course, rumor has it last season that the team didn't quit on Dayball. The team, he was very well, they were very well rallied around Dayball to make sure there was the tension between the GM and the coach. That was the problem. You know what I mean? And that came out. You know what I mean? So if you let these guys cook and see, Dayball's going to sit here and coach for another year if these guys are showing fight. That's all you need right now in this season, because this is a very tough schedule. Let's be honest here, guys. These are new players coming in. Let's be honest here. The Giants they just got their franchise quarterback this draft. Is he ready to go now? No. To be honest, I don't want to see Dart this year. But there's possibility where you can, because it got to show face that these guys need to stay for another year to sell the fans here. At the end of the day, they got to sell a fan. So you'll see Dart at the end of the season if it plays out the way I think it'll play out. But you got to give these guys time to cook. Yes, we stink, but as long as they show and fight, that's all that matters right now in this year. Because I really do think it's the free year.
Free.
Yeah, free. Shout out Pest, man.
Well, so I want to say one more thing though, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. We were talking about when Dart was going to come into the fold, during the season, and I think we're starting to gain some momentum about him starting maybe even earlier than we anticipated. I think what happened though, now that we see the first 4 games, I think that pretty much solidifies that Russ is at the very least getting October, right? I think getting till October, they're not going to throw Dart in there week 1 at Washington, in DC against Jay Daniels. You're just not going to do that. It's putting your quarterback in a high pressure situation right off the bat when you don't really need to. you have the veteran in there. So you send Russ out there for those first 2 games, and if he wins one, even better. Like he's going to get at least a couple more starts. But then Chiefs and Chargers, so they're 2 tough teams. It's kind of not, again, Sunday Night Football week 3. Is that a good time to throw Dart in there? I don't think so. So
No.
you start looking at spots, right? Like if we're 0-4, hey, then maybe week 5 is on the table at the Saints. Maybe at the Broncos, week 7 is on the table if you start so miserably that you have to get something going, right? Like those are the earliest. But what I think, like I said, what I think now that we know the Commander starting 2 games in division on the road, you're not seeing Dart week 1. You're not seeing Dart week 2. You're probably not seeing them until October at the very earliest. I think that now is cemented with what has come out recently.
Agreed, man. Wow, Speed, here we are. And again, this is rumored, guys. We don't know what days they're going to play on. Shout out to our guy K-Mac, man, because he was saying, man, they're not playing on Christmas again. We don't know.
They're not playing on Christmas?
Rumored. That's what he said. So he probably has something came out. So if they're not, no problem. If they're not, no problem.
He's right. He's right. It's not on Christmas. It's on Saturday, 27th, which is good. Thank God both of our holidays are not going to be ruined. We're going to be good.
God. Thank God. So, it's fine, man. But this is all rumored, guys. Quick question, man. John been in here. He been going nuts, man. Any new on Gabe Davis?
No cemented news yet on that front that I've seen. He is in for the visit today. I think we'll know by the end of the day, probably, if anything's going on. I have no concrete word. Talk to your sources. Talk to your people, man. Tell us what's going on.
I'm always digging around, man. I'm always digging around. But whatever you guys are seeing out in the public, that's pretty much the news right now. So
yeah.
Take it at face value. Of course, the Giants going to do their due diligence, work them out, do what they got to do. Just because the connection's there doesn't mean that he's automatically going to get a contract. So the Giants going to do their thing. This one thing about Joe Shane coming into this season, I think throughout the entire tenure he's been here, he's going to flip over every rock and make sure everything is dotted and the T's are crossed. So the news is the news, guys. It's what's out there. And, of course, just pay attention to it, and we'll go from there. I'm not in the one to breaking news, but if I get the news early, you won't get it until everybody else drops it. So I'll just let you guys know. But, yeah, man, that's it. Whatever you guys are hearing, that's pretty much it.
All right, so final thoughts. You have us at 7 wins. I have us at 9. I'll be interested to hear Jeff, we miss you, man. He couldn't make it today. I'll be interested to hear what he's got to say on I guess Tuesday. We'll talk about it more, but we're right in that range, man. If you get to 7 wins range, that means we're playing competitive football, and that's all I kind of want to see, dude. Yeah, I know. Listen, we knew the opponents, but it's about how they stacked up right at the beginning that kind of just gave us a little bit of a jolt of reality again as Giants fans. That's what kind of sucks for us. But
so guys, listen, I just want to hear before we get out of here, the chat. You saw the schedule. What's the prediction wins that you guys have for the Giants according to the schedule here? Like I said, I have them at 7 wins here. Give or take, it could be 6. I predicted 6 before the schedule was released, but don't forget, schedules matter as far as the time and place that you meet teams. All of that matters as far as injury, as far as they look tired or not, like as far as they're coached up or not. All of this stuff matters to why I'm like, all right, maybe we can squeeze out 7 wins or 1 more in there. You know what I mean? So I would say that, man. Let's I think I have them at the end, but like I said, give or take, man. 6 to 7 wins, give or take. I'll tell you this, man. The Knicks play tonight, brother. The Knicks
orange and blue skies. Let's go. Hey, John, you're right. Let's go. K-Mac, you're right. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Everybody, this is huge. This is huge tonight. Real quickie, do you have us closing it out at Game 5, or is it going 6 but coming back to MSG?
I'm gonna say this, and I don't.
He's a Harvard champion. You got to slide the champion.
I don't care how this sounds, but without Tatum, those guys aren't winning.
Oh, you think
close it out? I think they're done. And again, Tatum, I want to say Tatum didn't do much for that Celtics. He did a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he scored a majority of that points in those games, man. He was really putting the team on his back. But I don't think they find enough. They'll fight. This team will fight. But I'm telling you right now, the Knicks is going to close it out, man. In the third quarter, you'll see the Knicks really kind of pull away and be like, all right, now we closing this out tonight, guys. You're done. They don't want the Pacers to sit for too long. They don't. They do not. So
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, bro. I think you're onto something. I think if Porzingis doesn't, step up and come to the table and have a big time Porzingis game, I think this thing is done in 5. I think the Knicks are trying to not come back with any pressure. They got to go for the throat now. Have that killer instinct. So I'm rooting for the final blow tonight. But man, I'm still it's not gonna be easy. They're not gonna want to lose on home court to the Knicks. I promise you that. They're gonna give it their all. You're gonna have their A games. So let's see what happens, man. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited.
I totally agree. And you want to know something crazy, man? The Knicks, man, closing it out 5-0. What does this remind you of? And the Giants fans know. But what does this remind you of? This is something magical with the Knicks. I'm telling you, man. I hate to put the comparisons in there, but it's New York teams, right? And we talk about the New York teams here. But this remind you of the Road Warriors, right? This reminds you of something like that to that degree. They were terrible at home, but on the road, we know how to get the job done. And going up 2-0 in the series on the road, and then finally winning in the Garden, and then going back, it's only fitting to keep that undefeated streak going, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, if they could go undefeated on the road, that's championship caliber team right there, in my opinion. Speed. Probably with the Giants 2007. I ain't gonna hold you.
I told you on the last show too, and it even goes back to that last Boston matchup, right? The Patriots matchup or the Celtics matchup. They got that confidence going. They beat a tough first round opponent, but it gave them confidence. Now they got the second round opponent that was favored on the ropes, and they're gonna hopefully go for the kill shot. And listen, it might all line up, man. It might all line up. I'm excited. Pacers.
What's crazy? I agree. And you know what's crazy, Speed? Like when we say, man, we're excited about this, I think every Knicks fan I can probably speak for when we go, we're not, even though we sound cocky as hell, but we're not looking too far ahead. We're looking at the now. We're taking each series and going, you know what? We're going to beat them and give me the next one. And guess what? We're going to beat them. We take it one game at a time. We're not going too far ahead because, Knicks fans, we'd be like, finals, where we're going. And we feel it. But right now, we're just like, nah, we're taking this one game at a time. That's how I feel right now, is taking this moment step by step, one game at a time, because it just feels different this year. It feels different. Like, we got to take it all in. So me, I'm just like, all right, cool, let's celebrate. But, let's finish. Like, I see that all on my timeline is like, nah, we got some unfinished business. And I like this from the Knicks fans. I like this right here. We're not thinking too far ahead. So I'm like, oh, man, we could go to the final. Nah, we're thinking, let's finish first. All right, then you got the Pacers, no problem. Let's win that series. Let's finish first. Well, guess what? If we meet Milwaukee there, let's finish it, man. Let's win this and bring the championship back to New York.
Minnesota, you mean? Minnesota?
I'm sorry, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Milwaukee? Forgive me, Minnesota. Yeah. Minnesota, the Timberwolves. I'm sorry, the Timberwolves. I had the uniform. Forgive me. I had the Timberwolves. So yeah, of course and hopefully let's get to that and let's win. But again, we're not thinking too far ahead. But New York's gonna be New York. We're cocky, man. We swagged out. Over here. We know how it goes. So, but of course, man, we're taking it one game at a time, man. The Knicks, yes, they definitely deserve this, man.
All right, man.
Hands down. But yeah,
I think we said it all.
Let's get it going, man. It's a quick little show for you guys, man. Of course, man. Shout out to the chat. If you can, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, man. Shout out to 300 in the afternoon, man. So that's cool that we can bring you guys in, man.
Hell yeah.
In the afternoon. Usually late nights is a little bit higher, but in the afternoon, 300, I'll take it.
With no promo and lots of shitty technical difficulties. We apologize, but thank you for pulling up, people. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Of course, it's your boy, Mr. Glass Half Full. And of course, it's your boy, Eli Rex, a.k.a. Vibes. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace and blessings.
New York's revival. I'm in the building. Let's go.
Live with the Woodline Bros!
Let's go.